guys, it's Brit. This year I was invited to go to TED for the first time ever. If you don't know what TED is, it stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. Basically, there are only a couple thousand people total invited, and they are executives of every major company. There are heads of state there, celebrities there. I ran into Cher. She looks pretty good, but word has it she's had a little bit of work done. Anyways, it's just this forum for all these people to come together and listen to incredible 18-minute talks from some of the most interesting and intelligent people all around the world. So I thought I would round up my top 5 favorite TED Talks of all time, which are specifically interesting for those of you under the age of 35. These are the talks that have really inspired me, and I hope they'll inspire you too. So to kick it off, let's start with my favorite, Elizabeth Gilbert.
Honey, I gotta ask you something. You got something to do with that whole eat, pray, love thing that's been going on lately?
She was the author of Eat, Pray, Love. You might have seen the movie. Julia Roberts starred in it.
I have not given myself 2 weeks of a breather just to deal with myself.
If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Stop watching this, just go watch that. Her TED Talk is called Your Elusive Creative Genius. And it's all about how when people find success for the first time, how do they keep going? When you are an author who hits the bestseller list and you're #1 and Julia Roberts is in a movie made after your book, like where do you go from there? It's so inspiring. It's so interesting to know that people like that are still so humble, and I highly recommend you watch it and go get inspired yourself. Okay, TED Talk favorite #2. Brene Brown, The Power of Vulnerability. If you don't know Brene Brown, I don't know where you've been hiding.
And so these folks had, very simply, the courage to be imperfect.
She's literally like BFFs with Oprah. Brene is a researcher and professor in Texas, my home state, by the way, hook 'em. And she did a TED Talk and wrote a book on the power of vulnerability. And it's all about how we as humans try to disguise our vulnerability all the time. We try to act like we have everything put together. We are super confident and we have these big egos. But honestly, what's the problem with being a little bit vulnerable at times? We all have vulnerabilities, and ultimately Brene has studied vulnerability and shame and all of these emotions that we feel as humans, and have realized that if we're able to express those things, we're actually happier. So Brene Brown, The Power of Vulnerability, check it out. All right, favorite TED Talk #3, Amy Cuddy, who talks about how your body language shapes who you are.
Do a little audit of your body and what you're doing with your body.
Now, as a female entrepreneur and CEO, this talk really inspired me because I learned the data and science around literally how we sit as a reflection of the power we can exert to other people. In meetings, sometimes, especially women will cross their arms, they'll sort of shrink forward, they get like meager and weak and sort of close up. But if you look at the animal world, anytime someone's exerting dominance, they're spreading out, they're spreading their wings, they're putting their shoulders back, their arms back, their head back, and that actually exerts more confidence and more power. Just remember these things and watch Amy's talk, because she goes through the history of this, the science of this, and why it actually works. All right, favorite TED Talk numero 4, Ken Robinson, Why Schools Kill Creativity.
Extraordinary evidence of human creativity.
And it's so powerful for me, not only because I work in a field that preaches about creativity, but I also have one young son and another one on the way, and I'm struggling to understand how we're going to put him and them through school in a way that they can learn, their numbers and letters and history books, but also have time to play and create and make art and express themselves. If you are going through school yourself, or might one day have kids or already have kids that are going through school, I think this is certainly an important TED Talk for you to watch and to think about how we can change the future of creativity in school. All right, my favorite TED Talk #5 actually comes from this year's TED 2016. RAFFAELLO D'ANDREA talked about drones. His TED Talk is called Meet the Flying Machines of Our Future. And it was so incredible. He released dozens of drones into the audience. They flew all above us, and then they all started to get into formation. They did a light show. They were picking objects up off the ground, and it was basically about how these machines are going to be running our future. You've heard about, I'm sure, drone delivery, drone transportation, and it may have felt a long ways off, but I saw these drones in the flesh. There were tiny little ones, there were huge ones, all kinds of interesting new ways that drones are able to move and affect our world. And I think there are so many implications for what this means in our future. It's a little bit scary. You should go watch this talk just because it'll kind of blow your mind. You will not believe what is going on in the world of drones and flying machines. So I kind of have a sneaky sixth bonus to add.
Renewable electricity is cheaper than electricity from burning fossil fuels.
This year I actually got to meet Al Gore when I went to TED 2016. We were in the workout room together, treadmill to treadmill. I think we were pretty much going at the same pace because he's a little bit older, I'm a little bit pregnant. Al did a talk on the update of what's happening with climate change.
And there were fish from the ocean swimming in some of the streets of Miami Beach.
You sort of start thinking that the world is ending in the first half of his talk, but then there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
One day last December got 81% of all of its energy from renewable sources.
Because Al Gore explains how we actually have made some progress. We've built a lot of solar farms, we've used green energy really well and faster than expected, and it looks like we can actually tame this if we keep on the pace of progression that we've started today. Just given that we're all world citizens, I think this talk is for everyone to watch because we should all know what's happening with the world around us, the environment, and what we can do to play a part to solve this. So those are my six favorite TED Talks of all time that are especially useful if you are under the age of 35, starting out on your journey, figuring out your career, starting families, and moving forward in the world of drones and hopefully positive climate change. I hope you will go watch them all. And if you have more favorite TED Talks that I haven't watched, please send them my way. I'll see you guys next time on Brit IRL.